Let's see that primal instinct.
Hey folks, this is Devi welcoming you back to another marvelous video. Daria, a forgotten 90s high school sitcom that won hearts. Back in the day, MTV was definitely the hotspot for everything cool and trendy, ranging from new music releases to quirky sitcoms. One of their most hit shows, Daria focused on the life of a bright teenage girl, Daria Morgendorffer, as she navigated school as well as the world. The show was essentially a high school sitcom that started as a comedy, but later grew into something much more wonderful and was a massive hit with the audiences. Today we explore this forgotten sitcom that won many hearts and revisit Darias' life. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
How am I supposed to follow him if I don't know what he's talking about?
I can fill you in later.
What was the show all about? Daria was an animated sitcom from the late 90s, and it was first broadcasted on MTV in 1997. The show was created by Glenn Eichler and Susie Lewis-Lynn, and focused on the story of an intelligent young girl with a cynical view of the world. Essentially, the show followed Daria's life as she tried out new things and dealt with drama, and navigated problems in a typical high school setting. The show lasted for 5 seasons until 2002 and had a total of 65 episodes, ending with Daria's graduation from high school. Initially, Daria was introduced as a recurring side character on the animated show Beavis and Butthead, and her character was later developed into a spin-off series of her own. This spin-off was an attempt on MTV's behalf to widen its viewer base, and the show most certainly managed to do so. Darius' monotonous view of life, her sharp observations, and self-depreciating comments were key ingredients that gave the show a very fresh look as compared to other sitcoms at the time.
Study hall go faster when you're somewhere else.
Life goes faster when you're somewhere else.
Exploring some of the episodes and the overall story arc. The show kicked off with a striking opening theme wherein Daria is introduced as a bespectacled young girl who is disinterested in anything around her. She remains unfazed in several social situations ranging from a wedding to a football match and observes the world through a unique lens. In the first episode, titled Esteemers, Daria's father drives them to their new home in Lawndale. While her father tries to bond with Daria over how difficult it can be to move to a new town, she doesn't seem to care and even jokes about how she didn't realize they were moving in a deadpan tone. Daria also has a younger sister, Quinn, but her father only comments on Daria's inability to make friends as quickly as others. As they reach Lawndale High School, Quinn easily finds a flock of people to talk to, while Daria stands in a corner without making any efforts to mingle. They are then obliged to take a psychological test, and Daria amuses herself by giving wrong answers and being uncooperative with the counselor. Daria was not well received by her classmates or teachers either, and her history teacher even put her in a tough spot by asking her an advanced question. To his surprise, Daria answered the question correctly, and the teacher then praised her for being the smartest student in the class. Daria later returned home and declared her classmates as idiots in front of her parents while describing her first day. Her mother suggested that she shouldn't be so critical and give the people the benefit of the doubt, and Daria completes her sentence by saying that it all boils down to trust. It appears that her parents have been getting her to make friends for a very long time, but she prefers to do things her own way. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from their school counselor, who is concerned about Daria's results on the psychological test and wants her to take a special class. The counselor thinks Daria has low self-esteem, but she reassures her parents by saying, "I don't have low self-esteem, I have low esteem for everyone else." This dialogue became quite the highlight of this episode and became one of those famous iconic lines often quoted by fans of the show. Nevertheless, Daria is obliged to attend the special classes, and she spends most of the course doodling funny caricatures of the teacher. She also interrupts her teacher by asking him questions about self-esteem, but he disregards her and continues his monologue. One of Daria's classmates, Jane, was also present during this special class, and she confesses that she has already taken this course 6 times. The two walk home together and soon discover that they have a lot to talk about. Daria returns home the next day to find that her mother has taken a day off to focus on her daughter's self-esteem, and the two then go shopping. While Daria does not see how this can help her self-esteem, she engages in the activity and finds some amusement in watching her mother shop. Daria continues to attend the self-esteem classes and later tells her parents that doing something they did when she was younger will help her self-esteem. Daria then tricked her parents into going to Pizza Forest for a family dinner, and she has a lot of fun watching her parents pretend to enjoy the diner's loud atmosphere. The next day, Daria and Jane hang out at home and watch a show called Sick, Sad World. The show covered wicked things and incidents in the world, and Daria got quite a kick out of seeing such things. She later tries to convince Jane to take a test for the special self-esteem class, which would then exempt them from taking the class ever again. While their teacher insists that 3 more weeks are left until the course ends, he allows them to take the graduation test. Since Jane had already taken this course before, the two easily pass the test items and their teacher congratulates them during the school assembly for passing the test with flying colors. In their acceptance speeches, Jane pulls a prank on their teacher by announcing that she now feels terrible because their whole school knows that she has low self-esteem. She even faints on stage, and then Daria takes the mic to talk about how no one can battle self-esteem on their own. She comments on how self-esteem also depends on support from teachers, friends, and family, and even thanks her sister publicly. While Quinn has been lying to her peers about being a single child, Daria publicly announces that they are family and embarrasses Quinn. Back at home, Daria's parents are proud of her for publicly thanking her sister, while Quinn throws a tantrum over it. Her parents don't know why Quinn is annoyed, and Daria engages them by saying that she should have thanked them alongside her sister. Her mom then congratulates her for graduating early from self-esteem school, and Daria suggests that they celebrate by going out later. She uses her self-esteem as a weapon to drag her family into doing things she wants and then takes them to a UFO convention. In the next episode, titled The Invitation, Daria gets invited to a typical high school party by one of the school's cheerleaders. While Daria preferred to stay by herself, she was not rude to any of her classmates and even extended her help when they needed it. In one such instance, Daria helps the cheerleader Brittany in her art class. When Brittany needed to get a perspective drawing right to avoid taking up remedial art, she asked Daria for some help during class. Daria patiently uses examples that would resonate with Brittany to help her understand the concept perception and ensures that the girl understands everything. Brittany later runs into Daria during lunch and realizes that she has some things in common with Daria. Even if they are not on the same social level, Brittany invites Daria to her house party, but Daria later discusses this with Jane and declares that she doesn't want to go. Later that day, Quinn finds out that Daria is invited to the party and she straight up asks Daria not to go. While Daria had no intention of going, she enjoys annoying her sister and starts to rethink her decision. Daria tells Quinn that she wants to broaden her social horizons, and their parents decide that the two sisters must go together. Daria later sets out for the party with Jane, and the two get a ride from Jane's elder brother, Trent. As they arrive at Brittany's place, Daria contemplates whether they should really go in or not. She greets Brittany and then heads to the food table with Jane when they come across Chuck, who offers them a house tour. They return to the party room and 2 boys approach them and try to make conversation. While Jane finds one of the boys cute, Daria spots Quinn and tries to approach her. While Quinn is intent on dodging her sister, Daria introduces herself as Quinn's sister and embarrasses her by sharing stories from their childhood. Finally, Quinn offers her some money in exchange for leaving her alone, and Daria gets out of her way. She eventually gets bored and decides to return home with Jane. She declares that she did have fun and that it was a great night after all. When the police break up the party, Quinn rushes out after Daria and suggests they go home together. Though Daria and Quinn did not share the best relationship, they did not completely hate each other either and did manage to communicate and work together at times. In the next episode, titled College Board, Daria's parents freak out about their daughter's college prep and start preparing them for the next stage of their education. The show explored various experiences ranging from high school parties to college admissions in a fun, entertaining manner. When Daria's parents discovered that their friends are already preparing their 3-year-old children for college, they freak out about Daria and Quinn's future. They then enroll Quinn and Daria in a college prep course, even though Daria declares that she does not even wish to attend college. While Daria's classmates all dream about being successful and popular at college, Daria daydreams about her college teachers, suggesting that she should already transfer to a graduate school. However, However, her teacher only seems to be suggesting this because he wants to replace Daria with better-looking students in his class. While Daria snaps out of her imagination, she comments on how everyone is a jerk to her, even in her fantasy. Later that evening, Daria and Quinn tell their parents they need to visit a college as a part of the course, and their parents decide to take them to their alma mater, Middleton College. However, they are surprised to see that a lot has changed since they went there. While their parents reminisce about their good old days and Quinn leaves with a senior, Daria escapes with their tour guide Heather. Daria seems to like Heather, and she even offers to fix Heather's college paper for $10. In no time, students flock around Daria and asks her for help in fixing all of their papers and thesis projects. Daria bosses over the college students and gives them advice regarding their college papers. After a day of editing papers, she gets invited to a party and decides to go with the students. In the meantime, Daria's parents realize that they can only afford to send one of their daughters to college. They first try to locate both Quinn and Daria and find both of them at a fraternity party. Since Daria and Quinn are both underage, the entire family is kicked out of the college campus and their trip comes to an end. The next day, Jane tells Daria that she is quite proud of her for getting thrown out of college. Daria then reveals that her business is booming, and we learn that she has been getting paid for writing papers for college students. However, Daria's mother finds out about this and confiscates all her money. Daria also declares that she is soon quitting her new side job and that she already feels burned out from writing college papers while just being in high school. In the next episode, titled Cafe Disaffecto, one of Lawndale's internet classes has a break-in, and Daria is made to contribute to the cafe's restoration along with her classmates. While Mr. O'Neill thinks that the destruction of the cafe has separated them from the world community, Daria questions whether staring at a screen for hours really brings the world together. She further says that it is better to put a coffee place instead of a computer lab, if the aim is to connect with people, and Mr. O'Neill then concludes that they must set up a coffee house. He declares that the class will locate a place, make a plan, and then raise funds to set the place up. While Daria does not wish to participate, she has no choice since she needs to show extracurricular activities in her college application. Her teacher tells her that she should volunteer to read one of her essays and even suggests the essays she wrote about feeling like a misfit whom everybody hates. Daria proposes that she can participate in fundraising instead of performing and then agrees to sell magazines, wrapping paper, and other such items to raise money. As the show progresses, we slowly see Daria take steps to become more active among her peers and come out of her shell. She even goes house to house to raise money with Jane by selling chocolate bars, but one of the residents does not seem healthy and even faints while buying more chocolate. Daria then refuses to sell her more chocolate bars, but the lady gets livid and demands chocolates. Even after being offered 5 times the price, Daria refuses to give her the chocolate and instead offers to ring up her doctor. While other people's troubles usually amused Daria, she also knew that she had some special responsibility and never caused any actual harm to anyone. However, the lady then informs the school about Daria's refusal to sell her some chocolates. Daria then ends up in trouble with her teacher since they were still falling short on funds to open the coffee house. Mr. O'Neill then states that he can only give her the extra credit if she participates in the coffee house opening and reads one of her essays on stage. Though Daria does not wish to perform, she gets on stage and starts reading one of her new stories titled Where the Future Takes Us. The audience gets engrossed in Daria's words, and the opening ceremony soon turns into an anti-communism rally as her story propagates some extreme political views. While Daria gets her extra credit for participation, the coffee house is shut down only after one night due to all the trouble stirred up by Daria's story.
2, 4, 6, 8. Kevin's on his final date. Go, Mr. O'Neill!
Daria and her relationships. Daria Morgendorfer was a brilliant young teenage girl who was skeptical of everyone around her and preferred to keep to herself. While she was antisocial, Daria did wish to be more included among her peers but considered herself too out of place to even bother to make friends. As the show progresses, Daria's view of the world broadens and she does come out of her shell and becomes more approachable to her peers. Daria first appeared on the Beavis and Butthead show, where she was paired with the intolerable duo on group projects. However, she did not seem to mind Beavis and Butthead's silly demeanor and was quite amused by their antiques. They often poked fun at her and called her diarrhea, to which she retaliated by making snarky comments at their expense. After shifting to a new school, Daria found a friend in a girl named Jane, the only person Daria was willing to be friends with. The two soon became inseparable and bonded thickly over their similar similar views regarding their peers. Daria later harbored a little crush on Jane's brother, Trent, and Jane would often tease her about it. While Jane helped Daria come out of her shell, the two later fell apart after Daria started going out with Jane's ex-boyfriend, Tom. Daria and Tom got quite close while he was still dating Jane, and they even kissed behind her back. Jane felt quite betrayed, and Daria's friendship with Jane was then on the rocks after she started going out with Tom. However, Daria had a lot in common with Tom, and she even started showing her vulnerable side after meeting him. However, Jane and Daria then stopped talking and even spent an entire summer without having any contact. They later got over their disagreement after Jane forgave Daria and then maintained a solid friendship until the end. On the other hand, Daria and Tom's relationship later fell apart due to a growing distance between them as they headed to different colleges. Besides Jane, Daria did not have many friends at school and was constantly reminded of how she didn't have a place among them. She was shunned by the popular crowd led by Kevin and Brittany and only had one acquaintance named Jody. While Jody and Daria were not very close, Jody did not try to put Daria down and they got along decently. Daria also did not get along well with most of her teachers and often rebelled against them. She especially could not stand the school's principal, Miss Lee, and she disagreed with her military ways of managing the school. Some of her teachers, such as Mr. O'Neill and Mr. DiMartino, saw her potential in class and were even a little amused by her behavior. Mr. O'Neill even believed that she had the potential to become a good writer, but Daria could not be persuaded to write, and she was often irritated by her teacher's overbearing nature. Among all her teachers, Daria got along well with her science teacher, Miss Barch, who was always open to listening to Daria's views on the subject. Daria did not share a profound relationship with her parents as her mother was quite a workaholic and her father did not have the time to engage her. She also shares a strained relationship with her younger sister Quinn as the two had very different interests and hobbies. Daria was quite close to her aunt, Amy, and preferred her company over her parents. She saw a little of herself in her aunt and they actually had similar personalities, making it easy for Daria to bond with her.
You just hide in your room like a Kermit.
Mom likes you better.
That's because I call her better.
Marvelous verdict. This high school comedy was as smart as it was funny. Though Daria was an animated cartoon, it appealed to audiences of all ages, and its message resonated well with older viewers as well. While it was a high school sitcom at first glance, the show actually delved deeper into real-life issues and was more than just teenage drama and comedy. Daria's monotonous, dry jokes were quite layered and intelligent and often commented on society in a satirical way. Daria's name meant upholder of truth in Greek, and she was indeed an honest and somewhat cynical character who never hesitated to speak her mind. While the characters remained the same in terms of their personality, their story arcs were filled with character development, and the audience could visibly see them broaden their horizons. Daria was simply a gem among sitcoms in the late 90s and was wonderful in every sense, ranging from the animation to the voice acting. It was a genre-defining cartoon that went on to inspire many sitcoms and left behind quite a legacy.
I feel sick. Can someone open a window?
A Daria spin-off is coming soon. MTV Entertainment Studios announced a spin-off series based on the Daria show a while back. The spin-off is set to focus on Jody, one of Daria's classmates back at Lawndale High School. While Daria was a satirical cartoon that showcased the realities of high school experiences from the perspective of a teenage girl, Jody will follow the life of a grown-up girl as she leaves college and moves to a big city for a job opportunity. It intends to give a glimpse into the struggles faced by Gen Z in the workplace through Jody's lens as she takes up an internship at a tech company called Firstfinity. This spin-off was first announced as a series, but there have been some changes and Jody will now be released as an animated film instead. While more information regarding the release is yet to be revealed, MTV has announced that Ellis Ross will voice Jody's character. The spin-off holds a lot of promise and we look forward to seeing it very soon.
Fair enough.
Are we done here?
Oh yeah, we're done.
Good. I'll see you at school.
Conclusion. Daria was a breath of fresh air among animated shows, and it was definitely a genre-defining sitcom of the 90s era. It was a wonderfully executed show with plenty of humor, drama, and wit, and the writers did a commendable job at making this show such a hit. One of the key writers, Ann Bernstein, made a significant contribution to the show right from the first season to the very last spin-offs, and she only recently passed away. Ann had worked on many MTV and Nickelodeon shows across her her career, and she has left behind quite a rich legacy that will continue to entertain people for a very long time. Alright folks, that will be it for our video. If you like our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
Phrase, damn idiot teachers with their damn idiot brains out of my head.
Hey, Daria, congratulations.